Here we go.
Here we go.
Hey, welcome to the Hot Rod Lounge. My name is Travis. This is episode 4, and we have a really cool episode for you today. We are at the Tulsa Air and Space Museum. Is that right?
That is where we are.
All right.
TASM, TASM for short.
I've got Earl, I've got Steve, I've got Randy, and we got some special guests today. So, Randy.
And we have cake.
And we have cake as normal.
His mother's cake.
Mama made lemon cake.
What's the cake today?
Lemon cream.
Oh, you said that. I haven't had it yet.
You can't have it.
I know. It kind of sucks.
And I know folks can't see this, but where we're sitting is really, really cool. Generally, we're on the showroom floor at where? Riverside Ford of Tulsa, because that's our big sponsor. But today, we are sitting in between the cars at the Air and Space Museum. And Dan, it's great to have you here. You are the chairman of the board.
Yes, sir.
So can I call you Frank Sinatra, chairman of the board?
Well, I am an Italian, that's for sure.
Nice. Yes, I didn't even attempt the last name.
Marticello.
Marticello.
Pretty much Americanized. Yep.
We'll just go with Dan.
That'll work.
All right.
Dan. So Dan, tell us a little bit about where we're at. What's going on?
So we're at Tulsa Air and Space Museum, short abbreviation TASM. Just the aerospace place.
Help yourself, bro.
Here in Tulsa. It's got sort of a dual mission. What we try and do here is, airplanes are cool, aerospace is cool, space is cool, and so it captures the heritage of Oklahoma's role in the aerospace industry and the history going back to building bombers in World War II all the way to the present. That's the first mission, is really preserving that heritage. The second one is inspiring kids and youth to really look at aerospace and STEM as a potential career going forward.
Right.
Oklahoma has made it a point to try and diversify beyond oil and gas now and increase the amount of aerospace industry partners here in the state, and so that we play a crucial role, I think, in inspiring youth to look at maybe striving, maybe hitting the books a little harder, and really opening up some opportunities for them down the road.
That's cool. That's cool.
Hit the books harder. That was me.
Right. I'm sure. I can see you as the most studious person at school.
I was not.
Yeah. Surprise.
You know, when I went to school, I had one goal: get out.
Yep.
And buy a car.
Yeah.
You know. Hey, so
Buy a car.
buy a car. You know, there is some cool stuff here.
There is definitely some cool stuff
inside this building. You have a space shuttle simulator.
We do, and in fact, that was built by University of Tulsa engineering students.
Wow.
So one of the things I do on my non-free time is I run a simulator company out in Broken Arrow called SimStar, and we build, maintain, upgrade flight simulators largely for the U.S. military, primarily the Air Force. And so we're always on the hunt for good engineers, good software engineers. And we found a really good win-win-win here with TASM, in that we sponsor University of Tulsa students, OSU, OU students to do projects. They build cool exhibits here, or upgrade exhibits. So the museum gets a cool exhibit. The students get a real-world engineering project, and we get a first look at some of these engineers, and oftentimes hire them right out of school.
Right. I was out here one night for something was going on here, and they invited me out, and I crashed that simulator about 3 times. So his guys probably had to put it back together. It's okay. I mean, they're going to hear a little background noise today, folks, because we are outside. We've ran a 5K. Me and Earl.
Yeah, Earl.
Not.
And they're fixing to give away the awards, so we'll just have to talk over it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Unless you just want to quit right here and wait, but I think we just keep going.
Yeah, let's keep going.
Okay.
It is what it is. Now,
Are we bugging them too?
Here's the great thing. Tanya said I could be here.
Okay.
So if she throws us out, it's her fault.
Okay. All right. All right.
Actually, she's the one giving the awards. So in a minute, I'll have to leave because I'm getting a major award. It's a leg lamp.
A leg lamp?
Yeah.
Fragile.
Fragile. Run the 5K, get a leg lamp. That was kind of the way it went. So tell us I know you do some cool stuff out here with students and
Correct.
kids. We've got a planetarium here behind us. Kind of give us a big overview of what the Air and Space Museum does.
Yeah, so when someone comes here, they can expect to see a lot of different airplanes and see a lot of different exhibits. As time's gone by over the last couple of years, we've made more and more of the exhibits interactive. So kids coming in, families coming in can actually have things to do and participate. We've got the spacewalk simulator now. If you want to try that out while you're here,
Wow.
you sort of have to fly the spacewalk back to the space shuttle. It's a lot harder than it looks, and you only have a limited amount of fuel.
They know we're here.
For those that are big Top Gun fans, we got the F-14 Tomcat in the exhibit as well, so you can come out and take a look at a real F-14 that were in the Top Gun movies originally, and in the sequel they had an appearance towards the end of the movie as well.
Can you go up and sit in it?
I think sometimes they allow you to sit in it. I know for a fact you can definitely get up and take a peek inside the cockpit.
Now, my understanding about that plane is it'll still fly.
All of them could probably be returned to service. It just takes. We used to joke in the Air Force. It just takes. Just name the amount of money, you can make anything fly.
That's right.
True fact.
We do the same thing in the car world, my friend. For amount of money, you can make anything fast, right, Earl?
That's correct.
Even a brick.
Even a brick.
Now
Even a brick or a rust bucket, you can restore them, including that UH-1 Huey, and it's in tough shape.
Yeah, I'm not sure I want to fly in that, Earl, but you go right ahead. Speaking of fly, there's going to be a really cool airplane down here in just a little bit. Tell us about that one.
Flagship of Detroit. So that comes in. It's a vintage DC-10 American Airlines aircraft tail dragger. I took my wife up in it last.
Is that the one we did last year?
Yes.
With the 4 props or whatever on there? Yeah.
It's a really great experience. It shows you what air travel looked like back in the early days.
Right.
When they used to bring in full meals, you could smoke on board, all of those kinds of things. It's really a piece of history. If folks are looking to do that, it's definitely a must-do.
And you can actually buy tickets and ride on that plane, correct?
I did that last year. My wife's not a big airplane fan, but I convinced her to get on board, and it was a blast.
Do you know
I
how
seen
much?
her flying yesterday over Tulsa.
Yep. Do you remember how much the tickets are?
I think it's $100.
That's what it was last year.
You can't beat that for that kind of experience.
And it's about a 30, 45-minute flight, as I recall. Yep. Last year, Alan Mathis, who works for us, the guy that bought Steve's other Mustang, actually paid the money to sit in the jump seat in the cockpit and went for a fly. And then last year we sent Hoot Owl from 99.5.
That's right. Hoot Owl. That's right. I do remember that.
Who I get to hang out with every Sunday morning. So that's just cool. And they got to come out and see the P-51, right?
Yeah, the P-51's just a classic. And as you know, Apple TV's come out with that Masters of the Sky now with documenting World War II over Germany, and just incredible to come out here and see those types of airplanes still flying.
It's a Mustang, right?
Mustang, P-51 Mustang. And Mr. Latshaw still flies that airplane. My understanding is that is his, when he flies to a business meeting, that's his private jet.
Right.
I mean,
must be, bro.
Can you imagine you're going to meet with that dude and he shows up in that? It's like John Wayne just rolled in, right?
Yeah, you're not going to top that.
No, ever. All right, brother.
So we have, here I've noticed here at the museum, you have some cars that are actually here. And there's one thing that I noticed that was kind of interesting. You have a Ford Jeep.
A Ford Jeep. It's parked right there behind that helicopter.
All right. I'm an airplane guy.
Oh, okay.
Or rotary engines too, but that's a whole other topic.
No, I know about rotary engines. Okay, we can talk about those. I believe that Ford Jeep's a 42.
That 42 model. That's cool.
And it is almost Ford blue, and they used it here in the big plant where they built
Big
the
plant.
aircrafts for a while.
Bombers.
Yep.
Where they built the big bombers. And it was because that assembly line was,
Huge.
yeah, what was the number? Was it a mile long?
At least
or-
a mile.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't even know that was here.
Correct.
And they built those planes here for years. Well, that little Jeep come out of it, and if you go in here and look at it, and I'm trying to remember, it was a president or General MacArthur that was in here and supposedly rode in that
Rode
Jeep.
in the Jeep. That's
Yeah.
cool.
That's very cool.
I remember reading that story because that little Jeep sits over here behind the big aircraft in the back.
Now, that was just for World War II, right? I mean, it wasn't a production that Ford ever thought about
No.
doing.
It was like the bombers and everything else. You know, Ford Motor Company stepped in like all auto manufacturers in World War II and built tanks and planes and Jeeps and
Built more airplanes than any other manufacturer.
And-
Ford.
Ford did.
and
Wow.
And big bombers, them 24s and others.
And what was it, Earl? They turned out a bomber every 52 or 59 minutes.
Something
if you
like
go
that.
back
It's
and
phenomenal.
read the history books.
Yeah, and that's another thing TASM offers. There's all throughout the year, pay attention to the website because we have had B-24s, B-25s in here. I've flown in both of those over the last 2-3 years. As a former flight test engineer in the Air Force, 26 years in the Air Force, F-16s, F-15s, it still was a lot. It still was so cool to get into a bomber that was built in 1940 and fly
Right.
around Tulsa. I mean, you can't beat that experience.
What was the big bomber that they had here in town not
They
not
had the
long back?
B-29. They had the B-29 here as well.
Yep. And I came out here to an event. They took pictures of it flying over Tulsa. My office has print number 1 hanging in it.
Oh, cool.
You know, we came out. I had to have it.
Was that the 24 that was sitting out here? The B-24 with a flag on the big flag on
Oh,
the
yeah.
side?
Yep.
Yes.
I came out here and looked at her.
Yeah, I got a flight in that. That was awesome.
Oh, awesome.
It was awesome.
The only thing that would have made that picture cooler when it flew over Tulsa, they couldn't cut the picture big enough.
Right.
But that plane was directly behind that
Behind
bomber, and you couldn't get both of them together
Oh,
to
wow.
get the shot. So that would have been absolutely cool. Is it just me, or does that dude get in the middle look like Jimmy Buffett? I mean, wait till he turns around. Hang on.
Well,
Hang
our-
on.
our-
Look,
yeah.
I'm
our-
telling you,
our-
wasting away again.
Our audience will have no idea what reference that will be. But
Well,
we'll put a picture of them or something.
yeah. All right, T. Hall, what
well-
else do you want to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, what's going on today?
Well, there was a lot of things going on today. We had the runway run.
Right.
That's going to be part of a series this year for Route 66.
Not for me.
And then you've got a Stang Thang is what we call it,
Yep.
with the Mustang group
which you guys
here.
can see behind us. We did bring our Mustangs today.
And there's about another 30 out there
Yeah.
right in
There
front
are,
of us.
and there's a few extras in the parking lot.
Out front.
Yep, that didn't make it here in time, including my wife. So she's got a 1985 Cobra out there.
Oh,
Ooh, nice.
I think there's one other Fox body here, but yeah, really neat. 1985 convertible.
Those are
Mustang.
nice. Those are nice.
Just had it restored, the body restored. It's looking good.
We'll have to go out and get some shots of that.
85, wasn't that when they changed was that the first body style change?
I think that was the first Fox body,
Fox
wasn't it,
body
Earl?
was 85.
Okay, yeah, that's right. I thought there was, yeah.
And it amazes me when you watch an auction, even an old one that's not restored, what a Fox body Mustang will sell for right now.
Jeez.
Speaking of that, did you see the GT40 that sold for $6.9 million at Mecum a couple of weeks ago?
Awesome.
$6.9 million, 67. And here in a little bit, they're going to take the Mustang cars and take pictures of them in front of
The P51.
the P51. Me and Earl got in early. We've already got that done.
You already got that done.
So Stang Thang's a big thing. I mean, they do this every year. This is year number 7.
Correct.
I believe for
it is
Stang
the
Thang.
7th or the 8th year.
So, next year, folks, look on the calendar. Come out and check out the Air and Space Museum. We at Riverside Ford do a lot of work,
Right.
charity work with the Air and Space Museum. They will let you rent this building. We did our Christmas party here one year.
Yeah, that was really
Oh,
nice.
that's cool. That's really cool.
If they still do it, I've been out here 2 or 3 times for the astronaut ball. That was absolutely a whole lot of fun. Now, if you want your dinner conversation to grow, sit at a table with 3 guys that have doctorates from MIT.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. Last year also we had a dinner with an SR-71 pilot.
Wow.
He flew both the SR-71 and the U-2, one of only a few that have flown both of those high altitude airplanes. Very different airplanes if you know anything about them. U-2, basically a glider, high altitude glider, and the SR-71 basically a bullet.
Like the opposite.
Yeah.
Wait, are we talking about planes or are we talking about U2?
U2, no. The plane.
The plane. I know about Bono and U2.
The U-2 Dragon Lady, I think.
Yes. Coolest person I ever met at one of those was when General Stafford was here.
Oh, yeah.
He told some stories that we'd have to listen to off the air that were just absolutely hilarious. So if General Stafford ever makes it back, you need to come see him. He's a great guy. So,
Dan, I mean, I can't tell you how much we appreciate letting us come out do this.
I appreciate it.
I mean,
we really appreciate all your support. The museum, like I said, it's super important to preserve the heritage, but also even more important to inspire kids these days to take a look at something besides their phones.
right.
In, and have the opportunity to strap into a jet and make something of themselves going down the road, you know?
All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break for a second, and then
we're going to get out of here and have more cake.
We'll be back in just a second.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
3,
1. Hey, are we recording?
yes. And we're back.
And we're back.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, Randy, other than being here at the Space and Air Museum,
Air and Space Museum.
Again, we do have a ton of Mustangs here today because this is really the Stang event, right?
Yes. Now let's make sure we pronounce it correctly.
Sorry. See, I'm not good with the names.
Stang Thang.
That's right.
And they
Stang
spell
Thang.
it THA Thang.
NG.
Yeah.
NG. Mm-hmm.
And we also have to mention the fact that this is also sponsored by Riverside Ford of Tulsa.
Right.
And we're actually powered right now by the Lightning. There's a Ford F-150 Lightning that's back here, and this whole thing is being powered by that, which is really kind of cool.
Right, because
Trucks it back
what
there.
you've heard is with these cars and the Power Boost F-150, you can power your house
Yeah.
in an emergency.
Yeah.
If you've got the right plug-in for your Lightning,
Yeah.
you can actually set it where it'll backfeed to the house and power the house.
It's just really cool how it does that.
And so when you were talking about coming out here today, I thought, well, I ran by the dealership, and Ricky, when you get to looking for that missing Lightning, it's over there.
It's out at the Air and Space Museum.
It's parked. Now, are you ready
not
for this?
stolen. Definitely not stolen.
It's parked under the wing of the American Airlines MD-80.
That's right.
I mean,
Right behind
what a
us.
better backdrop right here. TJ, you getting a shot of that? The MD-80
MD-80.
And the F-150
And we've got-
Lightning.
and the
And
F-150
since we're talking
Lightning.
behind you, so people can actually see it, this is your new baby.
We brought our cars.
Got your cars here today.
Lined them up.
You know, I left the dealership this morning. I was supposed to be here at 8. At 8 o'clock, I was still at the store,
Right.
as you can imagine. Steve and Gail called me.
Where are you?
Where are you at? I said, I'm en route. I'm leaving the dealership now. I pulled up out here, and you know what he said? And it can't be true. He said, you fractured the speed limit getting here. And I went, no.
It was 15 minutes, Randy. I mean, 15 minutes from...
Well-
no, it wasn't I'm en route. It was I'm still at the dealership. There's nothing about I'm in my car, I'm headed that way. It's I am at the dealership. Man, come on.
Listen.
Hey, we got a plane coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse the background noise, because that's going to be loud.
There it is. It's
That
actually
is-
on the
They're
tarmac over there.
They're going to pull that right up here. I don't care where they're going. Let's get on and get there.
Is that Jimmy?
You can't say that. No, but it's got somebody's name on the tail. WR. Wendy and Randy. There's our plane.
There it is.
Look right there. It's
That's
got
where
a
your money's
WR
going,
on the
folks,
tail.
right there. There it is.
I told you this
1.3 million.
I told you this podcast would pay off.
Nice little private jet.
So obviously we've talked about the Bullet a little bit, but if you want to see the Bullet, we do have it. It is
Come on
here.
down.
It is
They're
here.
all here.
They're all
Yeah.
here.
I have a question for Earl.
Earl.
And we've talked about your car a little bit, and we always talk it's a Hertz vehicle. But I didn't want to say anything because obviously I don't. But
I got it. We're good. We're all good.
So what is, when I think of a Hertz vehicle, I mean, the first thing that's not, the Mustang's really not the first thing I think about. So.
Hey, look, Earl drives an old rental car.
Yeah.
So this heritage, of Hertz having performance cars for rent started in 1966.
Yes, it did.
Really?
With Carroll Shelby himself and the powers that be at Hertz said, let's have a 66 Mustang that is available for rent to the public. Sounded like a good idea at the time. The only problem with that was they were really fast.
Yeah.
And the people would do all sorts of drag racing, road racing, stoplight racing, and then, bring it back to Hertz, the rental place, and they had some problems.
Right. I would imagine.
There's even crazy stories of people taking the 289 high-performance Ford Mustang motor out of the car, and putting it in something else and racing it. So there's every kind of thing you could think. They even ran a safety wire a few months after that from the valve cover over to the shock tower so you could see if you'd taken the engine out of the car.
Right.
But anyway, that was a really cool thing in '66, and there's a lot of them around. They're very valuable. They're about $150,000, $200,000 car.
Wow.
Yes.
And then again in 2006, Carroll and the powers that be at Hertz did it again. You could rent a Hertz Mustang in selected cities for your enjoyment to go out and cruise around in a Hertz Mustang. And I owned an 06.
Yes, you did.
They did a few of them in 07, and then that went away. Following 1966, 2006, and this is a 2016.
Oh, wow.
So in those sequential, years, I've got one of the last Hertz cars, that was made in 2016. COVID stopped everything.
Right.
But
So they don't make any more of those?
they don't make these anymore. You can get one, looks very close, but it's not Hertz badged as
Right.
this one is. And that really confuses everybody. Why does Hertz have that on your car?
Right.
It's a rental car.
Right.
Earl, I have a question about the stripes. So you've got gold stripes on that car, so it looks great in black. What other color combinations do you have with that? Is that gold stripe particular to that specific car?
That's Hertz's color. Mm-hmm. I mean, that is the color, the number, the color chip. That's a Hertz thing. The yellow gold you see, maybe a little more yellow at where you rent a Hertz car, but it's on their cars even today.
Sharp.
Yeah, but let's not pretend. See, he was talking about the people who used to rent these and road race. That's all I did this morning.
15 minutes. But wait, Earl, you said to rent that car, it's about $550 a day if you actually get the opportunity. To rent that thing.
But then Randy's, and to defend Randy, his supercharged 08 Shelby, he does have a supercharger on it, so it got here a little quicker than me.
Yeah.
It,
Randy.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
Exactly.
So, but let's not pretend, as Earl says, the old yeller one here is supercharged. Mm-hmm. Let's not pretend that Earl's car is stock, okay?
Right.
Because
I wouldn't imagine it.
Earl owns nothing that is stock, okay?
What modifications have we done?
It's very light. It's got a
You're right, it's
got
light.
a racing cold air box on it, which changes all your fuel mixture, and it's been on a dyno and tuned.
Mm-hmm.
You put more gas in the cylinders, you go faster.
Why are you laughing at me? What did
Because he said it's got I'm telling you, you talked about it has a cold air box, and Travis's mind instantly went to there's an igloo cooler in the trunk.
I did
It goes
not.
faster. It might go slower.
I may not have understood what he said, but I didn't think there was a...
Earl installed a Yeti. So, hey, do this. Explain that cold air box and what it does for you, sir.
So on most GT Mustangs and other Mustangs that are built with a V8 in them, it's your air cleaner. It's your air intake that provides your cold air to your engine. So if you look at what EPA requirements are for these cars to make acceptable emissions, there's several things restricted on modern Mustangs, the GTs and Shelbys and stuff. So you can start taking some, aftermarket replacement parts, more air, more gas to the cylinders, maybe a performance tune-up. You get you can get a lot of more horsepower out of a stock car. So the generic term is a cold air intake box, more airflow, more CFM into the car, and that's what's replaced on this car. That's it. Still kept the original.
And does that add horsepower?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
But doing this one is such a massive change. You got to take it to a tuner.
Right.
He's got to put it on the dyno, watch where the fuel is, where your timing is, and all that stuff, and adjust it where it all fits. This newfound air flowing through the intake into the motor.
Does that affect the computer?
Everything.
Okay.
Yeah, it has to be done by somebody who knows what they're doing. We're going to do yours next, Steve, right?
Right.
Yes.
Let's do it, man. I'm ready.
Bullet car next. Bullet car next.
There is, and I have the brochure, and I've been saving it just for Steve McQueen Hahn over there.
I love it.
You can ship that car back to McQueen's son, and they put a McQueen package on it and ship it home.
I had forgotten that.
Yeah.
Fatter tires.
You keep it pure that way. I mean, really, it stays in the family, right?
Yes, it stays pure.
There you go.
Now, back to Earl's car. He can tell you about the Yeti cooler under the hood. Okay. But it has also been back to Vegas for a suspension upgrade.
Correct.
Oh.
It's, you can tell it just sits a little lower.
Yes,
It's got a
it
lot of
does.
performance suspension parts on it.
You said Vegas. Does that mean it went to Shelby?
Yeah, I went to Shelby.
Okay.
Shelby American, right.
See, I'm learning. I'm learning things.
Yes. It's cheaper to upgrade your car at Shelby than it is to go gamble in Vegas.
That's probably actually very true.
More rewarding, all of that stuff.
While we're talking about the Prince of Shelby over here,
Stop.
a lot of people don't know Earl used to work for Shelby.
Yeah.
He worked for the man, Carroll Shelby. And so I can't imagine that'd just be. I mean, can you imagine working for John Wayne?
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
In the car industry, that's probably true,
and so
or at least for Ford, anyways.
Right.
and wouldn't it be cool, Earl, if you still had the Super Snake, if you had them both?
Yeah. A lot of car folks, what you do, you buy something else, but you never sell anything you have.
Hear that, honey?
And
you
you tell-
never
you tell-
sell anything you have.
Tell the
talking about
wife,
regrets
"Well,
now."
I'm gonna keep it."
I hear what you're saying, Randy.
Where's Gail? We need to
Right.
tell her too. That's why they call it a collection, Earl.
I told that story yesterday for some of my drag racing buddies, and two of the wives went, "Yeah, we got all 3 old drag cars that were supposed to be sold, so we could build a new drag car."
There you go.
It works everywhere.
It's funny because, and you say that because you guys are talking about sports cars and stuff, but my first car was a 71 Toyota Celica. That's my very first car.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, I saw one the other day that they had all done up
Yeah.
and whatever.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
That's
like,
hot.
I probably I could have kept that one too. I mean,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
kept it up. And I mean, I don't know if it matters, they're all sports cars, but sometimes you get some of
Yeah.
these older cars that you have. And
They're special.
yeah, I mean,
For instance, a 240Z.
Oh
Right.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Who would have thought that
Right.
anybody would
Right.
have, you went on to the next, GTR or whatever it is. Them things are worth a lot of money now.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
yeah.
big long 6-cylinder in there. That
Right.
Look at what if you could find an old original Skyline. Go back and look that up. You know what that is, Steve?
No, I don't even know what that is.
For the longest time,
that a Buick?
it was a Datsun.
Datsun.
Nissan.
Okay.
It's the grandfather of the GTR
In fact, I think
that Nissan has now. And for the longest time, you couldn't buy them in America because they weren't rated to be here.
one passed me coming out here this morning, a black
Oh,
GTR.
you weren't doing it
They're
right.
huge. I seen it on US 169.
Oh, you're not passing me.
I seen him coming up behind me, and I thought, man, look at the stance on that thing. I couldn't
Yeah.
tell what it was. When he passed me, that car is gorgeous.
Was it a
Yeah.
Skyline or a GTR?
It is a GTR.
Oh, okay. Let
It's
me
about this far off the ground, Randy.
rephrase that. There was nothing you could have done to keep him from passing you,
Yeah.
other than hit him.
Yeah.
10-second car.
Yeah.
I actually did. I worked at Nissan before I moved back from Nashville, and I was a prototype vehicle tester. And we got to drive some of those GTRs up into the corner of North Carolina, South Carolina, on a little thing called the Tail of the Dragon.
Wow.
And it is an 11-mile road with 315 curves.
That's where you go to die, right?
And that would be a great place we could take the cars. It is. You run the Tail of the Dragon. You stay at the Topico Lodge. You eat pizza. You.
Where is that at?
It's in the corner of Tennessee.
Oh.
We'd run from Smyrna, Tennessee, to the Tail of the Dragon. Run there all day and turn around and come home. We'd put about 500 miles on the car.
I think it'd be fun on that topic, but local, to get you guys down to Hallett.
I'm in.
I mean,
At the Mid-America Ford and
That's
Shelby
right.
meet, we have that track rented for 2
That's
days.
right.
Coming up in June.
We'll be there.
Oh, and
We have flyers.
We have flyers.
Early flyer, very early flyer.
Very early. It is Riverside Ford actually sponsors this.
Correct.
We are going to do a podcast from there, and we will be able to participate in Earl's top 10. How many cars going to be in the top 10, Earl?
Probably 25.
Yes.
Now,
So-
you might have some top 10 potentials out here.
Oh, there's several out here.
We were going to have the Earl's top 10 today,
Oh, gosh.
and somebody,
We won't mention names.
won't mention names, left the certificates in his office.
Well, you would think I would have left them at the office. I didn't even make them.
Oh, darn.
Oh, no. Here's the truth.
You know, and speaking of making things, and everybody that's standing
Oh,
around
that's
here,
right.
make sure you get one. Look at these sweet key rings that Gail Hahn made us. Okay,
Hard Lounge. QR code on the back.
podcast. Make sure. Oh, she got one. Make sure you scan that QR code because you could be. We have tens and tens of listeners now, and
Right.
you could be part of it.
Now we have. Anyway.
Yeah, tens and tens.
And get
Tens and
one that matches the color of your car, too, if you would like. I mean, that's kind of the idea here as
Well-
well.
Thank you,
this
sir.
morning.
Now he's got his golf shirt on.
Heritage colors.
I would.
Nice.
I would love to have a Mustang in the old golf paint job.
Yeah.
You know, it is, and a lot of people don't. You know, the GT40 in the golf paint is absolutely stellar, absolutely stellar.
There's one at Mid-America. He brings it every year.
Okay, he brings all his golf cars, Earl.
Everything.
There's a dude shows up to Mid America. He's got matching car transporters, and some years he brings more than one transporter. 53 foot long.
His own?
His own.
His own.
And they're stackers, Travis. You know what
Wow.
that is?
Well, I imagine there's more than 2 rows of cars.
3 cars in the top, 3 cars in the bottom,
Yeah.
4 cars in the bottom, and he has. I've seen him show up some years with 3 of them things. You know?
And he comes to the Shelby meet.
Yeah.
From
my-
South Dakota.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
He-
Wow.
He's a moonshiner.
He's a moonshiner.
No.
Wow.
He sells parts, actually.
Oh,
You know? So, you know, people need to come see these cars. I love these cars. We do this every year, and it's just absolutely amazing. First year for the podcast.
yeah.
Travis, did you do your homework this week?
I didn't have homework, but I do think somebody else did.
I did not.
Yes, you did.
Look, you were talking about being studious earlier.
Yeah.
Same thing happened. My dog ate it.
Yeah.
There
I'm
it
just
is.
telling you.
Gran
is.
Turismo was the homework assignment for this week.
Somebody's trying to take off in that plane right there.
Hey,
So you
Keeps
saw
moving.
it, right?
I did. Look at him trying to
I
avoid the
know.
Now, wait.
conversation. He's you have ADHD, don't you, Randy?
Look,
I mean,
squirrel.
that's exactly what
Yeah, but
happened just then.
I wasn't expecting the rudder on the back of that airplane to move
of course.
inside the shop right there.
Someone's at the controller.
So Steve did watch it.
I
but-
watched it.
But in all
What'd you
fairness,
think?
wait, he watched it on DVD.
I did. I had to go old school with it. I couldn't even get the Blu-ray. I mean, we just don't do this digital stuff. I want the DVD in my hand.
Blu-ray, is that like
No.
Bluetooth?
Yeah, exactly. You know, but we were talking about the GTR earlier. I mean, think about this. And I had no idea what the premise of the movie was, but you have millions and millions of young people who play PS3, PS, whatever it is they have now.
Right.
These
Is that like
consoles.
a game thing?
Yeah, these consoles are now simulators.
Right.
Correct, that's correct.
And so this idea that you have a simulator where you're actually training drivers is the concept that's in this movie. And so Nissan, speaking of Nissan, you had an executive there, several years ago that had this wild idea of creating a GT school. And so he recruits the top simulator drivers, and they go to the school, and there's probably, 20 of these kids that they've recruited, and they're driving GTRs as training vehicles.
True story too. I mean, this is based.
This
off
is
of,
a true story.
Yeah.
So, and they take this one kid. I mean, it's a photo finish. The day they race, the plan is to take the winner and really make them something. And so, two of these guys are at it the whole time.
But don't spoil the rendezvous for him.
Sorry. And so it's just exciting. Randy didn't do his homework. I'm trying to give him the cliff notes here.
Spoiler.
Anyway, I'll say this: they go to a race over in Europe. That's a 24-hour race, whatever that one happens
We won't
to
mention
be.
what that is.
We won't
No.
mention what it is, but they place.
Come on.
Sorry, it was interesting. I mean, it really was.
It is, for car people, if you like, you should see it. It's a good
You really
movie.
should.
Well, here's the problem. By the time I get home of a day,
Right.
I sit down at the TV, I turn it on, and what happens?
Yeah,
You fall asleep.
My eyeballs go.
yeah. It was a special effort, Randy.
I know. I'll have
He
to
has
watch
the
it.
DVD now.
I have the DVD.
You can just
you can borrow it.
I don't
I've
have-
got a little checkout little thing like the
I
library.
don't have a DVD player.
Oh.
Yes, ma'am. Here's the problem. You can stream it. He went on Amazon and bought the
I had
DVD.
to buy it at Walmart.
We
This
told
is
him
how
to
it
stream
is.
it. I don't understand. For me, it was easy. Just go in there and rent it. But
Right.
you insisted on
I
buying
wanted
it.
to
So
buy
I guess
it. It's in my collection.
that's
It's
all
in
right.
your
Ford versus
collection.
Ferrari.
Hey, was Gail out here a while ago when we explained what a collection was?
No, she wasn't. She missed that part.
We're talking about regrets and
Okay, so
things like that.
the maroon convertible Steve should have kept
Yeah.
with the green bullet
Yeah.
for the collection.
It should have been the white 20.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
now we're
yeah.
going to go to the way back because there's been 6 Mustangs.
Okay, so you'd have had 3.
That was my heart right
That's
there.
right.
Now, here's what you could do. I know where there is an 08 race red convertible with 35,000 miles on it. For sale.
Yeah.
For sale. It could be part of the collection.
Could be my daily,
'cause-
right?
That's your daily.
That could be my daily.
Don't you have to stop the miles on that or something?
I have to stop the miles on this one now. I mean, I've got a little over 40,000 on it now.
You realize you and I can never
No.
be in the top 10.
We can't.
Actually, I can because mine's not a daily.
It's not a daily.
I'm in.
Mine's a daily.
He's not going to let you in the top 10. I don't know.
He won't.
Look at his. He's like,
You're
yeah, it's not gonna
honorable mention.
You mean the top 25?
Hey,
The top
okay.
100.
Earl will remember this. I'm going to tell you this because Earl used to work for Carroll Shelby.
Right.
Okay, so it was 2000 and I believe it was 2010 Shelby meet. Mr. Shelby's here. Okay.
Oh, wow.
So this one and Jim Owens make the introduction. Wendy and I get to meet Mr. Shelby at the banquet,
Right.
which was just, I know I drooled on his hand, okay? I'm just telling you. And Earl and I are standing at the back of the banquet, okay? Everybody's eating, talking. Carol's going to give this big speech. And all of a sudden, this door behind us that's locked, you hear. I looked at Earl, and he looked at me. I said, hey, let's see who it is. So I opened the door, and there's 2 kids. I say kids. They were 30s probably, you think?
Somewhere like that, maybe
Okay.
late 20s.
Yeah.
Two young adults.
2 young adults in a pair of khakis, black pants, and white shirts. They were dressed totally alike. And I said, sir, may I help you? He said, yes, I'm here for dinner. Great. Go right down this hall. There's a ticket booth, and they'll get you a ticket and get you in and get you some food. That's why the door was locked. He said, that's great. He said, they told me to be here. He said, my name is, and I don't remember what it was. We're going to call him Jerry. He says, my name's Jerry, and I fly Carol's airplane. Oh, no. Okay? I stepped out of the way and let him in. Come in. Sit right over there. Have food. And Earl goes, you don't know that this is true. I said, here's the thing. If he can think on his feet and make up that story, I'll buy their dinner.
Man,
Earl, is this a true story or
Very
not?
true. Very true.
We could tell Shelby American stories all day.
All day long.
And Earl could tell them because he's been there for all 100 years.
All 100 of them.
I'm not quite that old, but I'm getting there.
So Shelby Meet's coming 19th
Yes.
through the 23rd. Make sure you're there.
Yep.
Air and Space Museum, make sure you check out all these great cars. They've let us invade their space today, and we 100% appreciate
Well, and just
it.
check out the museum and just in general. I mean, if you're out here and you're in Tulsa area and there's just a lot of cool stuff here.
Yeah, and if you want to support the Air and Space Museum all the time, see Tanya right there, and she'll let you become a sponsor of the museum. You can be a member.
Yeah.
You can volunteer out here too, can't you? Be a
You can volunteer.
and hang out with the planes. Hang out with this UH-1 Huey.
I'm not. I ain't flying on that thing, Earl.
I have.
I'm not. And then, so come out and see Tanya, all the folks at the Air and Space Museum. We at Riverside Ford love these people. They do some great things. Come out for, they'll do Stang Thang again next year. Travis Hall, I guess it's time for us to go, isn't it?
It's getting to be that time. We're about that 45-minute mark. So
Miss Gail, thank you for the swag. You did a great
thank you.
job.
Thanks,
Wendell's, thanks for bringing the cake.
Yeah.
Yes,
Mom,
thank
thanks
you.
for the
Lemon
cake. And for all of us right here at the Hot Rod Lounge, for Steve, for Travis, for Prince Earl, I'm Randy, and we'll see you down the road.